Okay guys, so it's been a week since that last little section you would have seen in this video. For you guys it's only been a few seconds, but for me it's been a whole week has passed. So last Friday I was actually expecting my parts to arrive, but unfortunately due to some complications with the courier they didn't arrive, and it's taken a whole week to get that situation sorted out. But the parts have arrived now, finally. So let's take a look inside. I'll show you exactly what I've got for the upgrade to this machine. So we've got this whopping great heatsink. It's a Coolermaster Hyper 212X. I actually purchased it kind of as a contingency plan because I already had a Noctua heatsink, but I wasn't too sure whether my original mounting brackets were going to accommodate the new motherboards and CPU, so I bought this to basically cover that sort of situation. So that's our heatsink and fan there. Processor. We've got Intel i5, it's a 6600K, so really looking forward to using that. It should be a massive improvement over the old processor. By the way, the old processor was a E6600, purchased around about 2007, so definitely well overdue for an upgrade. RAM. We've got Corsair Vengeance, and it's a DDR4 RAM. This is actually a 8 gig pack. I think I made a mistake on the actual ordering process because I was expecting two 8 gig sticks for a total of 16 gigabytes, and I've only got 8 gigs here, so I went back and double checked the order, but it appears to be my mistake on that, so I'm kind of short half the RAM. So what I'll do is I'll just work with it, and I will pick up some extra RAM come the new year. So that's our RAM, and this is the motherboard that I went for. Okay, so it's a Gigabyte Z170 Gaming K3. So this is an awesome looking motherboard, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. So these are all the parts that I'm going to be using in the actual upgrade process. So what I'll do is I'll go through now, and we'll continue on with that rebuild of that machine, and I'll take you through that sort of step by step. Okay guys, so I'm just about to start this build. I've got all my parts behind me here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through it sort of step by step, take my time, build everything onto the actual motherboard, so installing the CPU, the heatsink and cooler, and also the RAM. Once I've got the motherboard all ready and set, then I'll be transferring it across and into the actual case of the current sort of PC. So I'm just going to take my time with that, and I'll focus on any parts that I think are relevant or might actually help you guys. So let's get started on it. So this is the actual motherboard we're going to be using. It's the Gigabyte Z170 Gaming K3, and I think you'll agree it's a really nice looking motherboard. I really like the black and red, and it's got a few white accents on there on the actual print, and it looks really nice. But that's not really the main reason I bought it. Obviously I purchased it for really out of necessity. I was well overdue for an actual upgrade, but also it's got the two full-size PCI Express slots, and it's also got 4 1x PCI Express slots. So this is going to be a good all-round motherboard, particularly in the future for GPU mining and also CPU mining. So it kind of ticks a lot of the boxes for me and my actual needs. So we've got the processor here. It's Intel i5 6600K. This is just a retail box version, which means that it doesn't come with a heatsink and fan. So we've just obviously got the actual processor, nice there, and also a little Intel Core badge there. This motherboard is a little bit kind of wobbly to work with. Kind of almost need to put something underneath it to stop it shimming about a bit. I don't really want to twist or bend it. Just going to try and support it a little bit from the underside. That's it there. Quite a lot of force required just to secure that CPU into place. There's just a little raised section on the underside. It's where the actual the M.2 connector is, just where it sort of screws in. It kind of has these little raised knobble pieces, which makes the actual board kind of uneven. Also on the actual back of the socket itself there. Okay, so that's the actual CPU in. Let's move on to the actual heatsink now, which will be the next. Okay, so these are the instructions. There's quite a lot to it, so I'm just going to go through part by part. Okay, so that's the main bottom bracket for the actual CPU cooler. So just got some IPA here just to clean off just the top of the CPU, just to remove some kind of fingerprints, just a little touch. Okay, so just going to apply the actual thermal paste now. I do actually have a little thermal compound spreader, so I'll be using that technique, spread it nice and evenly, and then we'll put the heatsink on and continue on. Start with that and we'll see how we go. Okay, we've got a really nice application there. So now I want to try and fit the actual heatsink and try and kind of keep everything balanced without making a huge mess of it. So actually, just before we continue, and just so you guys know as well, almost forgot this, there's a piece of tape just on the bottom that says please peel off before you use it. I almost just forgot that, so you might want to tear that off just before you even start. I think I also might just quickly clean the bottom of this as well. Okay, so we're ready to fit this contraption. So I think I'm just going to try and go straight down on the actual CPU. I think I'll just do these with the fingers a little bit first. Make sure everything's lined up, and then I'll apply a little bit more pressure to them. It actually says in the manual to kind of do alternate ends, so 1 and then 2, then 3 and then 4, like that. So yeah, I did want the fan on this side and the air going through this way. What I'll do is I'll actually fit the RAM on now, and then it just means that when we fit the actual CPU fan, it's got extra clearance. Okay, so here's our RAM stick. It's got a little piece of tape or something on there. I'll just take that off in just a moment. But it's quite a plain, simple design. Not really very much to it, but just a nice, simple design. So that's what we've gone with. So yeah, as I was saying in the sort of the intro, I did pick up only 8 gigs of DDR4 RAM. I was meant to pick up a 16 pack, but never mind, I'll pick up another bit of extra RAM soon. So that's our RAM in, that's part of CPU cooler back on. Just wondering about the actual height of this. Okay guys, so that is the actual main installation done. Everything's on the actual board. Hopefully everything will be okay. We've got the CPU in there, the heatsink and cooler. We've got our RAM and everything's gone well, no problems at all really. Just a nice, normal, clean installation, so looking good. Actually, just taking a closer look at the actual motherboard here, I can see the actual RAM slots. We've got the red are the primaries. So I'm just going to quickly swap this RAM over into those other banks. It should work either way, but this is just preferable. Okay guys, so everything's on the motherboard. We're going to fit it into the actual PC case now. Really pleased with how everything has actually come out. So let's continue on and get everything set up. Okay guys, so I'm just about to fit the motherboard and all the actual components into the case. Unfortunately, the actual camera battery is just about ready to pack up. So unfortunately I won't be able to capture the actual install. I'll just kind of come back to this afterwards. So let's continue on. Okay guys, so the actual build is complete. So I'll just give you a little close-up look at the different components. So let's take a little look. So we've got the EVGA power supply just on the left hand side there. It's not even a modular power supply, just a regular fully cabled power supply. So that was kind of difficult to actually work with. You can see down there, I've kind of run all the cables behind the actual back of the actual main casing. We have two RX 470s. Got the Coolermaster heatsink and fan there. I've got another Coolermaster actual fan at the back. There was actually a red one included with the case, but the actual Molex connector had broken off there, so that's that out of the question. We've got our two hard drives. These are just old serial ATA hard drives. I really need to get those replaced. You might also notice that there isn't a SSD in this machine, but I probably expect to get one in the new year. So SSD is going to be the next upgrade. You can see our RAM hidden away down there. The only other issue is that the actual logos for the actual Corsair RAM is kind of backwards. You can't kind of see them in this case anyway. But just to give you kind of an overview of it. I'm just holding the actual camera. Okay, so just continuing on from the actual back of the machine. I had to use a silver blanking plate there. I didn't have any black ones, but never mind. So just to give you a look at it from a different kind of point of view. Okay guys, so I'm just about to do the actual first power up. So everything's in. I've done everything as best as I can to the best of my abilities. So I'm going to actually test it now for the very first time, and hopefully it all works as it should be. So the monitor's plugged in. I've got a USB hub plugged in for the keyboard and mouse just to stop any keyboard errors, and I'm going to put the power in and let's see what happens. So obviously I'm super confident that it's all just going to work. And first issue is I can't actually even reach the actual power connector. So let's turn that off first, get the power connector in. Bring that a little bit forward. Hopefully you can see that. Well, looks good. Okay, let's hit the power and go. Okay, so on at the back, I wasn't too sure whether it would automatically fire up just from the BIOS on it. And let's hit the power button. We have power. Oh, okay, so that took quite a while to initialize. At first I wasn't actually getting a display from the monitor. I can just see that a power on signal has been sent to the monitor now, but still no actual display. So I guess we'll have to find out exactly what the cause of that is. Oh, I've got something. Just taking a little while to initialize. Oh, okay, so it skipped the entire BIOS power on self-test, the actual post, and it's gone straight into Windows. So that must be good. I'll have to go back and take a look at the actual BIOS configuration settings and all that sort of stuff, but it seems to have automatically picked up everything. But I'll go back and do that. Okay, so I just wanted to share this extra piece with you guys. So obviously I've fired up the machine, this is the first time, but just have a look at these cool LED lighting on the actual motherboard itself. Try and bring it into focus there. So it's like a LED strip, but it's actually built into the actual motherboard itself. And there's some more on the back as well. Try and bring it to focus. It actually looks a lot better in person than it does on the actual camera lens. You can see it a little bit more in there as well. It's like a red glowing effect, but unfortunately the camera doesn't actually really do it justice. It's more of a soft glow in person. Okay guys, so that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching, found it useful, informative, maybe even a little bit entertaining. It's been quite a long process for me. I know you don't really sort of see it on the other end of the camera at your end, but it's been quite a long process for me to actually get this done. Obviously I needed to get this build done for myself, for my own personal use. I'm going to be using it for my normal sort of day-to-day work, and also a little bit of GPU mining as well as. So what I'll do from here on is I will actually do some benchmarking tests, and I'll show you the results and the performance of this actual machine, which is formerly called Worker1. I might actually do another update, and we'll consider exactly what we can do from it in the future. So that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.